Hello. Oh,
Hello.
how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, good.
So
Good.
you brought that beauty today, but before we start, I want you to talk about yourself.
Okay.
Right?
Obviously, I've got the Golf now. Prior to this, owned a few Renaults.
Okay. Why
Yes.
Renaults?
I don't know. I just kind of fancied the trackability, the sort of the small hatchback
Okay.
sort of theme. I've always been into hatchbacks. Basically, I've never really had big cars.
That's a proper hatchback, right?
Exactly.
That's a
It's
proper
just
one.
always been my thing. And the Renaults, just great fun, you know.
How many Renaults?
I had two. So I
Two.
had 197 F1, racing blue, really good car. Done quite a lot of mileage, done like 100,000 miles.
Any cool
when I bought it.
travels?
Yeah, I mean, it had its problems, you know, but
Yeah.
it's a
car.
Renault, right?
It's a car, as expected.
Yeah, it's a Renault. So
That's probably why you swapped to a VW, right?
well, the thing is, I had the F1,
Oh,
which
right.
is the 197, which is 197 brake, and then kind of got the bug and went straight into a 200 brake, which is the 200 version, slightly newer, slightly more refined, and then kind of had that for sort of 2 or 3 years. You know, really enjoyed getting out of the weekend in it.
Did you ever race it? Or no, just own it as a...
I took it to Bedford racetrack, did a track day in it.
All right. Did you ever race this one?
No.
No?
No.
No. I always see it kind of nice and clean and kind of...
Well, you know,
It's a different story, this one. Why did you buy this one? Kind of coming from the Renaults and the kind of the hatchback love, why you end up on this one?
the thing is with the Renaults and cars like that, sort of fast hatchbacks, they're a bit more modern. They're great. They do exactly what you want them to do,
Yeah.
but they don't have that kind of romance. They don't have that
This
historic.
This is all about history.
It's
isn't it?
about the romance, yeah.
As a car designer, this one has a big impact on me, right? Kind of, you think about Giugiaro and kind of the story behind this car is just magical. It's just
Yeah.
one of the greatest ones ever designed by one of the greatest designers ever.
Exactly. So he designed the Mark 1, didn't he?
Yeah, he designed
Yeah.
the Mark 1. And
don't
again,
know
he
if
started the story. And if you think about, again, Marcello Gandini, who designed the Polo,
Yeah.
right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the first
Yeah.
one, yeah. Which is
Yeah.
kind of, so they were kind of more or less Bertoni, Giugiaro.
Yeah.
But this
Yeah.
one is super interesting because it's the follow-up, what happened next,
Yeah,
right? From
yeah.
the kind of first
Yeah.
generation.
Well, this became the new people's car, really.
Yeah.
From the Beetle.
Oh, I love it.
And in fact, the Mark II is actually the highest selling VW ever.
You know that I used to have a VW Santana Quantum. I don't know if you have it
Yeah,
here.
yeah, I know it.
The
Yeah,
S-Tap, the state version.
yeah, they're nice.
And
Yeah.
the dash was extremely similar. So mainly the center dash has been kind of used so many times.
Yeah.
It was a 1984
Okay.
or 6.
Yeah.
I don't remember anymore.
Yeah, pretty old now.
Pretty old now.
Yeah.
This one is?
This one's a 1990. So another sort of 5 years and it will be exempt, MOT exempt, and I can drive it into London, not get the ULEZ charge, all that kind of good stuff, which I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to. That's if I've got it in 5 years' time, of course.
We all will.
But, you know, I mean, I bought this in June, July last year. And the problem with these cars, as you probably know, whatever you buy is not going to be perfect unless you buy
Yeah.
one that's been fully,
Yeah.
done. And I wanted something that was good, but not perfect, because I wanted to drive it.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
remember, I think 2-3 weeks ago when we were having a chat about this car,
Yeah,
you mentioned about all the work that you've done and all
Yeah.
the cool things that you've done and
Yeah.
this and that. And tell me a little bit about that. So
So-
what really happened since you got it?
so I bought it in good faith that you know. Well, basically, I bought it because I'd seen a few, and they were all very similar. They all needed some kind of work, you know. They weren't perfect. And this one was on 85,000 miles, which I thought, I can't go wrong with low mileage car in terms of value. So that's why I bought this one, and it was silver, and I wanted a silver one. Yeah. So, you know, it seemed perfect.
And it's a nice cool silver as well. It's a little bit dark.
It's diamond silver.
Yeah, it's a different.
So it's quite a rare colour. So anyway, I got it home, super happy, drove it for a couple of weeks. Problems started emerging with the engine. So it was overheating, it wouldn't start when it was warm, all the typical kind of stuff you'd expect with an old car.
So a work of passion and love.
So
as usual.
I took it to a friend of mine that has always looked at my cars. He's an ex-Fadge mechanic, so he knows these cars inside out. Took it to him. He had it for about a week. He brought it back. He said, "That's as much as I can do with it. There's something in the engine, bottom end or top end, that's not right. It might be a head gasket. It could be worse." So he said, "If I was you, I would rebuild the engine. It's going to cost a bit. But once it's
you're
done,
going to get it perfect, right?
Yeah. So,
can you open the hood?
Yeah. So
let's pop the hood and have a look.
I gave it to him. He basically, because it was a 1.8, so it's a 1.8 valve.
Woo!
And he said, "I've got a friend that's got a 2 litre bottom end, a vernier, balance rods, Kent cam, all the stuff ready to go. Everything's been chemically cleaned inside and out, and then put the new parts back into it. Everything will be new, everything inside the engine will be brand new." And I was like, okay. So gave it to him in July. I said, right, really I want it because I want to drive it in the summer. Right? I don't want to miss out on the whole summer. It turned out that he had it for 3 months. So the unfortunate thing is, when you factor in the amount I paid for the car and then the work I've had done, I could have bought that show-winning car. I could have bought the one.
But is it going to be, I mean, the value, the sentimental value or whatever would be the same, you think? Because now
it's mine, isn't it?
That's the thing, isn't it? If you buy something perfect, it's someone else's history.
That's right.
And that's why I think why we are doing this kind of YouTube channel is to tell exactly that
thing.
One thing that goes and then moves in and kind of drive you into kind of spending some silly money on something that eventually people say, "Oh, why are you doing that?" Because I love it.
Yeah, that's the reason.
It's the reason, right?
I get in it and it makes me smile, you know.
That's it.
You know,
it's your daily.
Well, it's not strictly my daily. I try to drive it as much as possible. So I'll go out, you know, 2 or 3 times a week. Especially if I've had a bad day at work, you think, right, I'm going to go out, you know, just blow some cobwebs off. Every weekend I drive it. I mean, when we did get it back, sort of late summer, end of summer, me and my other half sort of said, right, let's get as much use as we can. So we did as much driving as possible.
That's cool.
Went to London a few times.
That's cool.
Went to as many shows as we could. Yeah. I say shows, you know, just get
car
together.
Meetings and events.
But yeah, maybe this summer I'll be able to do a whole lot more in it. Now it's fixed, let's say.
Yeah. The year's just beginning. It's probably 1 degree now. People don't know that, but it's pretty cold.
Well, the thing is, it's not a show-winning car. It's a car that I want to drive.
But it's your car.
I'll drive it through winter.
Yeah.
You know?
It's your car, isn't it? And you trust it now, and it has your own.
Yeah, people get worried about. They say, "Oh, you know, the salt's on the road," and they're designed to be driven. Yeah. You know,
absolutely, yes.
It's German, right? It's not exactly summer in Germany, is it, all the time? So,
yeah. So, design-wise, this is a masterpiece in my opinion. It has been kind of going for ages, right? So many design cues, so many design elements that really set what VW is today.
Yeah.
And kind of from changing kind of the evolution that kind of we had with Beetles in the past and kind of all the kind of round cars when they came in the 80s, 90s, the kind of the square shape.
Yeah, boxy,
the boxy shape. It's fantastic. So if you look closely, you see that there's a line that comes from there, goes around the whole car, wraps around on the lower kind of tail lamps,
Yeah.
and it's one sweep line that
One
keeps your
complete,
eyes
yeah,
running
that's right.
around it,
Yeah.
and it makes the shut line for the trunk as well. So reducing the shuts and reducing the elements.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. The C, kind of classic, right?
It's just simple, isn't
It's
it?
just
right?
simple.
It's all
It's
about
just
function.
effective. Yeah.
Yeah.
And in that time, or kind of in that specific age, the construction method is so different from what we got today,
Yeah.
right? So these represent exactly what the manufacturing capabilities of that time when stamping and pressing panels would be. So that was the state of art.
Yeah.
And I think, again, design-wise, is just a masterpiece. One thing that I really love, and it's a signature of the old GTIs, is the red strip around it, isn't it? So
Yeah,
that kind of made so much difference in that time. Tiny little detail.
Yeah.
And then you would identify them coming on your rear view mirror and said, oh,
Yeah.
that's a GTI, isn't
It was
it?
just a little thing, wasn't it, to make the
It
difference.
was one of the most
Yeah.
kind of, I thought,
And
wow.
the point with this is, I could replace the grille.
No.
again, but I thought, no.
No.
You start replacing things, you have to
Yeah.
replace other things because then
Yeah,
it stands
yeah,
out,
yeah.
doesn't it? It doesn't
And again,
look right.
the fogs and the kind of the way it looks.
They're all
is-
weathered. They're all weathered at the same rate. So
Yeah,
you know.
it's lovely. It's beautiful. You've done some changes as well, right?
yeah.
So what have you added or taken or?
So, I mean, we've spoken about the engine. So obviously the engine's been completely overhauled, rebuilt. So that's pretty solid now. In terms of what's gone into that, so like I said, it's got a different cam. It's been balanced. It's got a vernier. It's now a 2 litre. So it's been bored out to a 2 litre from a 1.8. So I won't do nothing else with it. Obviously, I could have gone down the route of putting a more modern engine inside it, which
Yeah.
a lot of people do.
Nah,
I want to keep the
you don't.
spirit.
You want to keep it.
I
yeah.
wanted to keep
I
the
would
spirit.
keep it. Yeah.
Exactly.
As original.
So when you
as
look
can.
at it, it just looks standard.
Yeah.
It's got a K&N air filter just to make it breathe a little bit better, which has made a massive difference, to be honest. I mean, I didn't expect it to, but it did.
Yeah.
But I probably, because of the modifications that's been done, it's just sort of complemented it, let's say.
Yeah.
But other than that,
Design-wise, kind of the exterior.
nothing's been done.
Nothing.
No. So the BBS RA's pretty standard for this era. We're already on it. I haven't refurbished them. They're not perfect actually. So I could in
I think
future.
they're perfect.
Well, you start looking, you start seeing things, right?
But again, you need to understand what do you really want. You want a show car that is just pristine, or you want something that you use and you feel proud about it.
Yeah.
If you use and you feel proud about it and you go around, it will get.
It's good enough for me. But in terms of other mods, so it's had KW suspension all round.
All right.
So it's down about 40 to 45 mil from standard. A lot of people that own these cars go a lot lower than that.
You know,
know,
no, I don't think
but
you should. Actually.
If you look around the front, if you look at the chin spoiler,
Yeah,
it's fairly low.
it's pretty
as
low,
it
isn't
is.
it? And it sits nicely as well.
I can just about get that off my driveway
Yeah.
without scraping.
Would you kind of get a little bit wheel out a little bit or not?
Well, these are 7 point. I think these are 7J wheels.
Yeah,
If you go 7.5, it brings them out a little bit.
yeah,
Feels the arches slightly better. A lot of people go. These are 15-inch.
yeah.
A lot of people go 16-inch wheels. Now, for me, they look too big at 16.
Yeah.
But then sometimes I look at 15 and they're slightly too small. It's almost like you need a 15 and a half that doesn't exist. Honestly, it's a really strange thing.
It's the relationship between the wheel tire, the tire wall and the wheel itself, and how it fills the arches, and
Yeah.
you need to get that nice balance.
Well, what you need to do ideally is to get, if you go to a 16-inch rim, offset the overall diameter with the tyre and rim as it is now to make it the same. So you then have a smaller profile tyre, right?
Yeah,
I don't know,
yeah,
what, a 40 or 45?
Yeah, yeah.
But by doing that, it's not going to be as comfortable.
Talking about comfortable, should we go for a ride?
Yeah, let's do
Yeah?
it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not, I think the ride is actually really good from a comfort point of view. It's down 40 to 45 mil, it's
Yeah.
on KW. So not only is it better to drive, better handling, I think it's a sweet spot between that sort of really uncomfortable, jarring.
Yeah, you don't want it.
bouncy.
Yeah, you don't want it bouncing.
It's
and
not
banging,
really
and
my
it's
thing
not really
anymore.
nice. Yeah.
But you know, I appreciate that people will
Oh yeah.
do that because they're all about, you know, the certain look.
I
So
mean,
that's the one thing about these sort of cars. Obviously, with the age of it, the tech is very simple. The heater, you know, the lights, they're all very primitive. This does have the spotlights, which helps, and a lot of people do replace them with LEDs. But again, I didn't want to do that. I like the fact that they're that sort of really, you know, rubbishy yellow. It just feels
I
authentic.
don't think it's rubbish and yellow. I mean, it's yellow, but it's not rubbish, is it?
Well,
It's perfect for what it is, and it's original.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing I will say about this car, the previous owner put a stainless steel exhaust, an aftermarket exhaust on this. That's actually really, really noisy. I can't say whether it offers anything in terms of power. It probably does.
It's just more kind of.
But it's not for me. So I will be changing it this year to
Alright, yeah.
to a performance exhaust that has that stock kind of
Some
tailpipe.
noise and
Yeah.
because it has being a 2 liter, it has probably a very nice. I mean, it has a nice noise. I think
yeah,
it's bodied, and then yeah, you see, it's nice. I like it.
I like it, but on the motorway,
Oh yeah, on the motorway it may be boring.
Yeah.
Not boring.
it's not resonated. It's straight through. So
Yeah.
you know, I want a resonated exhaust. So you've got that. It handles the gas, right? So
yeah.
I mean, I can modulate it with the pedal to sort of tame the noise down a bit. But you know, if you're driving to London or even further afield, it does get a little bit annoying.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something I will be doing this year for sure.
Yeah, man, this is a cool car.
You didn't say it.
I say now. Yeah. I was kind of really keen about having you here, talking about the car. I love the car. Again, design-wise, for me, is something that it does make a lot of sense.
No, I appreciate that.
And
It's been
thank you
really
so
good.
much. Yeah,
You know.
thank you for bringing it here. And when you get the changes and all the things that you're talking about, let's do it again.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, it's going to look the same, right? But
But it will
Underneath.
sound different.
it will sound
Yeah?
different. Yeah, for
Here we
sure.
go.
For sure. All right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
cool.